that, hey, Salida, I'm here. So let me know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, thank you very much for coming back and listening to today's conversation. It definitely means a lot to have you in this space and knowing that you are getting value from these conversations. And one way for me to know that it's when you leave a comment. It's when you let me know that you hear and you leave those feedbacks. So thank you all for being here. Okay, so if you're new to this space, I'm Salida Roberts. I'm the founder of Style to Impact. And I truly believe that representation is not just you being in the room or having a seat at the table, but it's also how you show up. And it's that belief that really drives the work that I do as an image stylist, which is to help create individualized, personalized, authentic style for women who are ready to change the world, lead successful businesses, and finally feel as confident and fierce on the outside as they do on the inside. So if that's you, definitely let's connect. You know, go to my, if you're in the chat, let me know that you're here. If you are following the replay on this conversation and this conversation sounds like something that you really need right now in your life, I know we're all going through many challenges right now, and so I thought it was important to have this conversation. At the top of the hour, I usually like to start with a wellness check-in, and so I'm going to continue in the same vein, even though today's conversation is geared towards wellness and how we're feeling and how can we navigate these difficult challenges by really tapping into our personal styles. So I want to hear from you. The wellness check-in is generally what I like to do is just take a moment for us to pause and to really check in with ourselves to see how we're feeling, and of course what is it you need to intentionally show up for yourself. So if you're here live, then definitely let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing. I see one of my favorites are here in the chat. Thank you very much, Sunita. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support. And for those of you who are coming in later on the live, I appreciate you being here. So thank you all very much for that. And so, like I was saying, as we did, while I was talking about the wellness tracking, is that many of us are going through a lot right now. It's great to have you here as well. Many of us are going through a lot right now, and it absolutely like breaks my heart every time I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and seeing someone post something about a company that just laid off some of their staff, and someone is posting that they were just laid off from their job after spending how many years, and just this disruption that's happening right now. It 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 feels like the times it feels uncertain, and I can only imagine what it feels like for anyone that might have experienced or being laid off from their job recently, um, and how that has impacted not only you but also your family and the goals that you might have set for yourself this year. And so I want to first of all say I see you. I sent you, I'm sending you love and light your way. And I hope that this new chapter that you're on brings some clarity for you, and you're able to step into a better season in your life. And so, also, and while you're going through that as well, it's okay to take some time to grieve. I know going through different changes in life, going through any type of drastic change in life can be emotional. I know from my own experience, I would have shared a couple of times here with you in that I, took that leap of faith in leaving a country and leaving a life that I would have known and been accustomed to building a new life here in Atlanta, and it was challenging. It is still challenging. I've had many challenges from making that move to health scares to constantly receiving no's for everything that I want to do, from going through that period when I was applying for jobs and everyone is like, no, 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 no. Thank you very much, but it's not a reflection on you. And as much as we know our worth and we know, okay, this is just a phase, being in that season, emotionally it can take a lot. And if we don't have the support system and we don't have people close to us being a shoulder for us to lean on, it can all feel overwhelming. So I want to encourage you to take this time to grieve. It may feel like, because everything is feels uncertain and everything is not in alignment with how you want to show up, you can feel like, okay, what do I do next? What's my next move? And so you might try to force some making things happen, and in trying to force a path and trying to create things that, and you haven't really had a chance to deal with the loss that you would have experienced. Ultimately, what you're doing, you're just driving yourself into a darker space. So I really want to encourage you to take that time to grieve. But while you're doing that, while you're taking that time to grieve, it's okay to do that. But also remember that you don't want to stay in that space. You don't want to stay in that mindset of uncertainty. You don't want to stay in that mindset of loss and grief. You really want to make a plan of action, like, okay, how long? I mean, grief is different. You don't necessarily, I mean, it's not easy to say, okay, I want to grieve for this loss in my career, or grieve for whatever challenges that you're going through just for this specific period of time. It's not always easy to say that, but it's also good to have some form of guide to say, okay, I am not going to stay in this state for the next, for, 2, 3 months. I'm not going to do that. But recognizing as well that I do need that time to understand what I'm feeling, and creating that clarity that I need. Because in difficult, and so not staying in that space means that you also have to remember that you matter, and all the things that you may have associated with your worth is not, um, losing that does not mean that you are less worthy. It does not mean that you are not um, loved, you are not supported, you're not capable. It just means that this is a phase of your life that you're going through. And when we're going through difficult times, and we go through that grief phase, and we hang on to that grief and that loss, we can neglect ourselves, we can neglect self care, and we can also neglect our personal style and how we're showing up, because we're so focused on survival, right? We're so focused on trying to move through or move past this phase. It's like, this is not who I am. This is not how I see my life. This is not how I envision 2023 to be going to be going for me. I had so many goals and so many things that I wanted to do, right? Those are all the things that may be going in, going around in your mind, that you're thinking, and it's like, no, I need to, and you get into that, I need to create and I need to make something happen right now. And the focus then becomes, how can I survive this? How can I figure out what's next? And I want to tell you, as I said, my own personal experiences that I would have gone through trying to um, create opportunities and to rebuild your life on survival mode is not healthy. It's not the ideal strategy, because you can neglect yourself in the process. And if you're neglecting yourself in the process, that means that you're not showing up with the right energy to be able to attract the things that you need. And so for me, while I was going through my health scare, while I was going through my own personal challenges, a couple of things that I tap into. One, reading became the tool for me to have someone else pour into me, someone else share their experiences of how they would have dealt with challenges. I remember the first book that I read when I decided that, okay, I'm no longer going to stay within that grief phase. Is to the book that I read was Do It Scared, and I love that book because I was in that phase where I felt scared. I was in that phase where I felt uncertain. I was in that phase where I just wanted to feel some form of hope, have some form of hope. And that book for me was what guided me, what gave me that motivation to say, okay, let's not just survive. Let's look for ways that we can thrive. Let's look for ways that we can, that I can feel whole and start stepping into this new phase of my life, right? Not going to say all of it went smoothly. I'm not going to say that I'm in the perfect space that I want to be right now. I'm not, but it's still a work in progress. But because I took that leap of faith, because I took that action to identify tools that can help me during those difficult times, I'm where I'm at. I'm lucky to be where I'm at today. I'm lucky to be able to have this conversation. I've always said that being on this journey of entrepreneurship saved my life. It really did save my life because it gave me purpose, it gave me meaning, it gave me something to look forward to and something to pour into and feel whole. And so for you, that can be anything like reading a book, but the conversation that we're having today, it's why your style matters during these difficult times, right? Why it matters to show up for yourself during these difficult times, because it's absolutely no secret. When you look good, you feel good. Whenever you look good, let's say that, let me say that again. Whenever you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're better able to cope with the challenges that you're facing right now. Because imagine if you're not feeling great and you're not looking great, then everything that's happening right now in your life, whatever those challenges are that you're experiencing, everything just feels like it's out of control. And if everything is out of control, it's more difficult for you to take back control and knowing what those steps are that you need to implement. What are the strategies you need to implement to feel whole, to feel safe, and to look forward to, put that plan in place as to what you need to do next. And so your personal style, your style, the way you show up for yourself is one of those tools that can really have a powerful impact on your mental health, a powerful impact on your confidence and your overall well-being, because you need to feel whole right now. I posted a tweet on I made a tweet. Do you say tweet on Twitter? I think it's a tweet on Twitter where I said that wholeness is the new wellness, right? We need to find whatever we um do, whatever we love, to feel whole and um to feel at peace with ourselves and the circumstances and the situations that we're going through right now, right? Because I know it can be challenging, I know it's difficult, I know it's hard. And so tapping into really using your personal style as that tool to help you get up every morning to help you move through your day with some level of confidence and clarity, even if it just means that you are getting up and you're doing one thing for yourself, making your personal style part of your routine impacts how you feel and how you show up, right? So, why does it even matter? Why does your personal style even matters during during these difficult times, during these challenges that you're going through? I like to say, when everything else feels like it's in chaos, when everything feels like it's out of your control, your personal style creates a sense of control for you. It creates a sense of control for you. I'm going to say that again. Your personal style matters during these difficult times because it helps you feel in control. If you're in control of how you show up while everything else feels like it's out of control, that one thing where you're taking care of yourself and how you want to show up does give you a sense of security, does give you a sense, a level of confidence that not every single thing in your life is out of whack. My grandmother, who I grew up with, liked to, she had this saying that whenever, we're going through challenging times as a family, whenever we, you know, didn't have something to eat, or feeling lost and we're trying to figure out what's next, she had this always remind us that you don't have to look like what you're going through. You don't have to look like what you're going through, right? Because whatever you're going through right now, as difficult and challenging as it is and it feels, it's just temporary. It is just temporary. But if you start looking like whatever you're going through, then what you're going through might become permanent. Right? So I'm going to say that again. I'm on that repeat phase because I want you to really grasp what I'm saying. I want to leave you from this conversation feeling like, okay, I can do this regardless of what's happening. And I thank my grandmother for that, because I also use it as my guide in life, in that you don't need to look like what you're going through, because whatever you're going through right now is temporary. But if you look like what you're going through, whatever you're going through might become permanent, and we don't want that. The other reason why your style matters, especially during these difficult times, because it's a form of self expression. It allows you to feel connected to yourself, right? When everything feels out of whack, when everything feels uncertain, when everything feels, when you feel like you don't know what to do next. Showing up for yourself, getting dressed, expressing who you are and how you want to feel allows you to connect with yourself. Because during difficult times, we know it's easy to feel disconnected from who we are, right? Especially, if you, with so many persons losing their jobs, it's like some persons may have attached their worth to that job. And so going through that phase of, that crisis of meaning, trying to understand who you are and what it means to be you, staying connected to your style and being able to express who you are through your style connects you to you. And if you're connected to yourself, if you're connected to the things and that makes you feel, wearing the things that makes you feel confident, makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel powerful, makes you feel bold, then you know the phase that you're in is just temporary. And so I want you to think about, you may be saying, okay, so later, yes, I'm in survival mode. I don't want to be in survival mode. I want to thrive. I want to not lose myself in the process of this phase that I'm in. But I also don't have the time to get dressed, right? And so I want to say this to you. Taking control of your style, taking control and feeling connected to yourself by expressing yourself through your style, it doesn't mean that you have to get up and get dressed from head to toe like you're going somewhere. Even though I encourage you to do that, but I do understand that looking at your to-do list and looking at the phase that you're in and what you're going through, whether or not that's a job loss, whether or not that's a family situation that you're going through, and you're so focused in trying to resolve that, trying to get to the next level, trying to get over that hump. Thinking about spending 15 minutes in your bathroom, in your closet with yourself may feel like a lot, but I do encourage it. Instead, be intentional about, if you don't have that 15 minutes, be intentional about spending 5 minutes with yourself, recognizing how you want to feel and how you want to show up. And what are some things that you can do in terms of your appearance that you can do to really create that sense of control and express yourself? And that can be something simple as putting on your favorite lipstick. That can be something as simple as wearing a pop of color. And that can be something as simple and important as combing your hair. I mean, think about it. How many times you're at home, everything feels like it's out of whack, and you're like, okay, you got up, just put on some mismatch pieces, like put on a gray sweater and maybe a pink top, a pink t-shirt, and you like pull your hair and just kind of like put a scrunchie on it and just kind of go. What I want you to do is take that 5 minutes. So take this formula for getting dressed from me. Take 5 minutes, center yourself, how you want to feel and how you want to show up. Pick one or two things that you want to use to enhance your appearance. Make one of them combing your hair. That is a must. I highly recommend you do that because combing your hair does give you this sense of completeness. It does give you a sense that you're put together, even if you're not put together. The second thing that you can do, and you can decide what that is, that can be, as I said, wearing a pop of color, or maybe lipstick, or maybe putting on a complete outfit in terms of like choosing an outfit with one color. So instead of using, like, let's say you wear sweaters, you wear sweatpants and you wear like what they call them. Like, I don't wear them. So I'm trying to think of, you can really tell that I don't wear sweatpants and sweatshirts. But if you're gonna wear loungewear, if you're gonna wear loungewear, instead of wearing two mismatched pieces, think about, buying it in buying a set and wearing a set. So make it a blue bottom and a blue top, because that um allows you to feel complete and look complete. Right? And as I said, as you think about, yes, pink. Yeah, pink is definitely my color, right? So as you think about um, how to show up for yourself during these challenging times, how to stay connected to who you are, how to not lose yourself in the process, and really use style, your personal style, as a tool during these times, I want you to think about How do you want to show up today? Right? That was something that I had to use for myself. It's a question that I ask myself every single day. How do I want to show up today? So ask yourself that question. How do I want to show up today? Showing up and how do you want to show up today, and how do you want to show up for the job search that you're going to be doing, right? The resume that you're going to be sending, the email pitch that you're going to be sending, right? It doesn't matter what's on your to-do list. Ask yourself that question. How do I want to show up for, pick 2 or 3 things on your list and say, how do I want to show up for these things? As well as how do I want to show up for myself? Because it's about getting into the energy. What you want to do is to get into the energy of what you want so that you can receive the opportunities that you need. Right? I'm going to repeat that again. Your personal style matters during these challenging times because it allows you to get into the energy you want to be able to receive the opportunities that you need. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your personal style can improve your mood, like changes your entire mood. It can increase your confidence as well. And it allows you to feel more in control, especially during these difficult times. So thank you very much for joining me. Before I close out today's conversation, I want to leave you with a quote from the great Maya Angelou. And this is what she said. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still come out of it. So when you're thinking, with all the things that you're going through, I want you to remember that quote. I also want you to remember that your personal style is a tool that you can use during these times to navigate the challenges that you're going through, to stay connected to who you are. So thank you very much for joining. If we haven't connected as yet, hit that follow button on my profile here on LinkedIn. Send me a message. Let me know what are your thoughts from today's conversation. What were your biggest takeaways? If you know someone as well in your network that can definitely benefit from today's conversation, share it with them. I would greatly appreciate that. So until next time, remember that representation is not just you being in the room or having a seat at the table, but it's also how you show up. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.